Testing, 1, 2, 3. It's too bright. How's it going, everybody? Music Therapy Laz here. Presently, that's my light controller there. Let's see if we can bring down that brightness there. How's that? Much better, right? There we go. We are presently going solo. We've got Ian in the house already. What's up, Ian, man? 6 people already here. Thank you guys always for coming. The people that come, you guys rock. Even though you know my style, it's kind of, is it a style? That's what my sweetie says. Your modus operandi, that I'm last minute Laz sometimes. Trying to throw together so many things all at once. If you guys watched any of my friend Johnny Bean's show last night with our good friend G. Butchnoff from the SoCal region of the world, and our friend from the shady side part of the world, Ron Gunner. It's I gotta hit the laugh thing. The shady side is just so funny. There's an actual town called the Shady Side Town. I'm going full baldy today because, you know, it's a music therapy or music is therapy show where we get serious and talk about serious stuff. Like today's episode, I didn't even have time to put the description together because I was deep in research. I was doing some research on this last night and then doing more research on it this morning. I'm getting all these quick reminders. Remind me later, computer. You know, when you turn your computer on for the first time in days and then it has all these things you got to do. And I say, no. By the way, down below my late Laz, that's my nickname for today because I'm late. I started a good 10 minutes late, right? I got a P.O. box. So I'm going to try to start doing this, not like a business, but like a nonprofit. Do you know what I mean? So I'll hopefully be getting the monetization all settled out and figured out how to do it properly as like a business of sorts. But I want to try to do this kind of like how a nonprofit would work. But can you have a nonprofit because you're using YouTube who's profiting off of you? I don't know. So these are the things I've been trying to work out, you know, in the back behind the closed doors, in those secret meetings with the other Illuminati folk, trying to figure out how to control the world, right? So what's up, Ian? Yeah, hell yeah. And today's going to be a very interesting and unusual day because we're going to have the first practice or rehearsal of, I don't know, there's probably 20 songs or more. I think I've got at least 12 of the songs that are on that list that I've got to learn. I've already done some of them, so we're gonna have some repeats, I think. But it'd be nice to throw in a couple new songs in there. And I've got my buddy Andy from not Australia, but from Scotland, from the northern shires of England, right, Matt Stewart? Matthew, what's up, dude? Thanks for joining. You guys, people popping into the chat. So today's show, I've been contemplating this one for a bit, and I decided to do today's show on this because originally I was going to talk about, again, live music. We had kind of part one of sorts, talking about live music with Alex. I talked a little bit about live music, you know, going down to LA and seeing my sister play at the Whiskey, and the importance of playing live and being out in a live setting as either an audience member or in, you know, as a musician in your practice of the playing of music. So there are those two words, practice and play, right? You've got the play music and then there's the practice of music. Practicing entails everything from learning how to play the instrument properly, the notes. Oh my goodness, all these bing bongs over here. Let me turn that stuff off. It's going to keep bing bonging me. But you've got the practice and the play, right? So the practice is the I would call more the concrete. We talked about this last time, right? The concrete and the subjective side of life, of reality, and we try to break that down and concentrate down on the music side of things, right? Steve Gunner, what's up, Steve Gunner? Yeah, yacht rock, that's right. You know, yeah, Laszlo, that's right. That's a backwards way of the S and the Z. Got a flop those, but close. Anyway, but I start my nickname with just Laz because it just sounds Laz. Otherwise, they call me Lass, like in the Outlander show that we've been watching. That's another one with the Scots are in that one too, like my friend Andy, who I invited to come to today's get together, hang, barbecue, jam, and practice sesh at my buddy Joe's place. And I got a new set of drums too. Isn't this exciting? So let's give a clap for that. Right, we got to give a clap for that, because it's not a brand new set of drums and it's not acoustic drums, but my buddy Peter, Peter, as we call him in Hungarian, Peter the Painter. He's a great guy, man. You guys, this guy's he's hilarious and he's super cool. He worked with me for years at my uncle's door shop, and yeah, he doesn't like to do the finished work that I like to do, but he's a really good painter, and he started this company out in the Bay Area. Super good guy, but I'm not going to give his company away here because haters will go after him and like destroy his paintwork. I'm just kidding. I don't have any haters. Do I have any haters? I don't think so. I think when you get really successful, maybe no matter what happens, there's going to be haters. But I don't know. I feel like I'm successful in my own right. Anyway, but we're going to try to make this channel more successful and grow the channel, right? Rhodey's Jam Cave. What's up, dude? Rhodey, what's up, man? I was talking about the monetization of the channel and trying to do it in the correct way. I'm trying to do it in a way where I'm not, I want to do it like a C3 kind of a thing. I've been involved in and helped organize a C3 organization in the Hungarian community, have been parts of many community activity, activistic, whatever you want to call it, groups that do good things, community groups, my mom was a big advocate and activist in the Red Cross organization, working with the Red Cross and, establishing some Red Cross stations, locations, always involved in helping those who need help, right? Because look around, right? I don't need any of this stuff, but I have it and I've purchased it, and it wasn't always easy, right, Johnny Bean? It's never easy. But and you've been invited, so join in if you want. But you're probably at the cafe, and that's all good. Anyone else that I sent the link to, and if someone wants to jump in, like this dude, are you ready? Should I bring you in? Nod. Give me a nod if you're ready. Oh, right, here he is. Yeah.
Oh, that was quick.
Alex Bradford. Look at you.
Yo.
Look at your place. You got lights up already. You're way ahead of the game.
Yep.
My game.
Yeah, I finally got some colorful lights
in the game. In some ways I'm ahead. In other ways, But with this SSL board, dude, you got to come over here and we got to create some music with this.
I know that thing looks so nice. I saw the picture of it.
It's so nice when it's all humming over here and we're like creating sounds and songs and with this funky keyboard too. This thing right here, this little waves thing, man. Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. In due time, as they say, which in my case, I should have put the laugh track, not that one. Hold on, I gotta memorize these. Johnny Bean already has them memorized, because he already
just from
these buttons.
He
just knows which ones where just by touch, just by feel, right, Johnny Bean? Yeah, that's right. Here he is having coffee, and I asked my sweetie to make me another cup. So, honey. I gotta text her. I'm gonna ask her to bring me my coffee, but she doesn't want to be on film, so I'm gonna have to go away and come back. Like it went away. Let me see if she'll respond to my text. Come bring my coffee and I'll turn off the camera. And she'll be like, no, you won't. You're gonna trick me. Anyway, let's see. Just knock. I'm gonna say just knock. Well, she's gonna want me to go out and get it, I bet you. Anyway, hell yeah, Ian, says Johnny. Hell yeah. Technically not film. You are correct, sir. You are correct, technically, right? Is any of it really what we think it is? Is it all real at all? Is any of it real? So we were talking about that last week. Did you enjoy that show?
Talking about
the subjective and the concrete, and understanding the hard question, as they call the hard problem. They call it as a question with the hard
Oh,
problem.
I might have missed that show.
You know about what the hard
Yeah.
problem is? Have you ever heard that? The hard problem.
No.
The hard problem of consciousness, understanding
Okay, yeah.
what is it? What is
Yeah.
our consciousness? Where does it come from? Why do we have it? Did it
Yeah.
evolve with us as we became more complex as an organism, or is there consciousness even in the simplest of organisms? When you break things down into the quantum, none of it seems to make sense to us because our brain's probably not capable of understanding it. But there's this chaos theory, chaos that's going on underneath it all. But is it chaos, or is it just looks like chaos to us? Just like when you're running through the forest and every tree is like this, and if you slow down, walk around, you notice the forest a little bit differently. It's a perspective thing. How you perceive the world is based on the ways you have of perceiving it. So the senses you have, we talked about the 5 senses, right? We got our eyes, we got our smell, our nose, we got our taste, our mouth. Those are 3. We got our ears, or hearing, and then we have touch and sense of that sort, what we feel. Now, those are concrete senses, but they can elicit emotional and otherwise feelings of, like, I'm feeling hungry. But what is the feeling of hungry? Is it pain? When your stomach goes, you don't have enough to eat for a while, you really start to have some pains,
Yeah.
So these are concrete and subjective things that we later define with words we create in our language, to your grunts and moans or whatever, because you don't even have to have a word. You can go, ah, and people know what that means, right?
Yeah.
That's a scream.
Exactly.
It's a scream for help.
Motion.
I'll never forget. Yeah, right. I don't know how you felt about it, but when the first time came, new word, well, maybe not. First time I heard Kurt Cobain's Nevermind album from beginning to end. I like to listen to albums, especially new ones, from beginning to end. I try to get a feel for the artist as to how, not just them, but the producers and everyone involved, this artistic rendering of sound here. What is it that they're trying to get across to us? What are they trying to project to the world? And Kurt Cobain's, that album, I'm like, this guy's screaming for help. This guy's just this outward scream for Now the whole thing was just like, to me, just somebody crying and screaming for help because this world is crazy and nuts and you can't find this place in it or understand what the hell to do with it. But he did what he could with the music he had until he took his life, which is really sad. Some say that didn't happen that way, but very likely it is. What's up, my friend? I used to call him Steve, but now we'll call him Brian. Searching for a tone. Thanks for correcting me on that. Somebody out there, was it you? Somebody corrected me on that.
Wasn't me.
Somebody corrected me, like, Glass, it's not Brian, it's not Steve, it's Brian. I'm like, God, why did I mess
I think you were telling me about it when we were down at the Giants game, but
right, yeah. That's kind of funny. Holly, what's up, Holly? Holly created a very cool AI song. We also talked about AI and also the reason why the hard problem is really hitting science today, and people on all sides of contemplating these things. So everyone, philosophers to psychologists and psychiatry and neuroscientists like Daniel Levitin, whose book I read today, which a little bit prompted me to go ahead and do this today because I happen to be in a part of a chapter where he's talking about why is there just 12 notes of music, or why it's all been written before. Has it been all written before? We'll get into that one in a second, but the consciousness question, and then physicists and the deepest cosmologists, and these people are talking about how the universe is created or made and what's it made of and what part are we of it. And then we've got the infinite depths of the big to the small, and Einstein and everyone in between, and wormholes and whatnot, right? So you wrap your mind around all that stuff in this few minutes of explanation of the hard problem. The hard problem is, what is this consciousness, and what that, why do we have it, and is it even really there, or is it just some figment of our or some other alien's brain game that we're just a projection of, or whatever, right? So there's all these things that are playing into this, right? Let me go remove that.
Maybe AI will figure out consciousness.
Maybe.
What
Good
it
luck,
is.
AI, and that's another thing too. If you look, I've been deep diving on AI too, and you look at where the term came from in the first place. It was really a marketing term, a marketing ploy, and it makes sense when you think about it that way, because artificial intelligence, there is no such real thing, because any intelligence as we describe it had to come from it developing from some lesser level of intelligence, if you want to call it intelligence. So that's why this consciousness thing is such a big part of the AI question. And so I'm encapsulating it down into music now, into these 12 notes. Because how many times have you heard it? I've heard Beato say it. I've heard everyone else, how many times have you said it, heard it said, there's just these 12 notes, but you can do so many different things with these 12 notes. And so I demonstrated a little bit of this to my wife this morning, because I was going to try to describe to you all what I want to try to say here. And you have to try to figure out how you're going to say something or express it. And so I was using her as my guinea pig and experimenting ideas off of her. And I says, well, for example, there are 12 notes to the Western scale of music, as we call it. And there's a reason why these 12 notes exist in the harmonic spectrum of sound when it comes to how our ears perceive this sound, right? And it has to do with how the notes are split up. Boomster Black knows what I'm talking about. He's talking about it right here, the Pythagoras. That's right. You look at his idea of how notes would be broken down, and then you start running into problems, because you have the 2-to-1 ratio, the 2-to-3 ratio, the 5-to-3 ratio. There's different ratios of how you can break down things. And I do have some. I didn't have time to put the description together as I usually do, because I usually takes a little while. I want to upload a few, or put into the description a few links to some video that I watched on YouTube to kind of get my mind around this too, and try to how to figure out how to describe this. But basically on a guitar here, we'll just grab a guitar here. Let's grab this one right here, and this is an easy way to kind of break it down. We also got the keyboard here too, if you want to use that. But you got a string here, right? And the string is being held taut between the nut right here and the bridge right here. It is at a particular scale length, a length of string, to which we usually can, find a nice tone that we like, right? Or, right? Now, when we cut that in half, then we end up going to the middle of it, right? So inside the middle of where the nut and the bridge is, we're at the 12th, right there, right? So we call it the 12th fret because it's the 12th note. Now, same note, different octave. So one's higher, one's lower. Funny thing is though, the lower notes, right? Now, on a guitar, what advantage you have, the funny thing is that you can find those same notes on different strings along the path, right along the frets, right?
Yeah.
Usually it's a fifth away. Right? But they sound a little bit different. Because there's this thing called timbre or timbre or timbre.
Yeah, timbre.
When a tree falls down, it's timbre. Oh, wrong button again. Johnny, where are you, Johnny? Where I need you to push that right button. Anyway, the timbre. So you have,
tambourine.
Yeah, exactly. You have variations even on the same note, and then you can go from one instrument to the next. So let's do that demonstration here. Now we're going to go to a different acoustic guitar here. Same note, right? A little bit out of tune there, right? So I asked, let me get back to the mic here. So I asked my wife, you notice those two are the same note, but they sound different. How do they sound different to you? And I asked her, she's like, oh, that one sounds higher. And I'm like, how do you mean higher? Well, it's kind of more, like a tinny kind of sound. And I'm like, yeah, the pitch, right? The timbre. And there are resonances, and there are other terms, I'm sure.
There's like certain harmonics that are in like in the strings and stuff that it's something harmonics. It's the
hold on a second.
Word. Yeah. I'm like,
keep talking. You keep talking. I'm gonna solo you.
Yeah, there's a certain word that it's that certain like lots of like certain string instruments have it like a harp. is a good one where it has the full like different overtones. Thank you. Harmonic overtones. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Holly. And that's what I was looking for. I knew I was looking for the right word. Yeah, harmonic overtones. That's what it was. Overtones and stuff.
Exactly. Overtones and stuff, right? So, and then you have those resonances and dissonances, right? Resonance, dissonance, harmonics, overtones. Exactly. That my timbre is much better than my timbre. Timbre. Yeah, exactly. Timbre. So here's my coffee. I'm going to take a sip. Here's the, for you guys who like the ASMR. All right. Yeah. You're funny. Anyway, so so when they say that music, all the music's been written already, I'm going to soundly disagree. That is not true.
Right.
And the reason I say it's not true is that, okay, yeah, these guys have been out there producing, making music forever, but why are there still creators creating music? Why do we do it, Alex? If it was already all done, why do it?
True.
Okay? And to me, it's kind of like the track star who says, you know what? They say that time can't be done, but I'm gonna beat it. They're gonna go out and run anyway. And you know what? Even people who don't know, they know they can't beat the winning speed, but they still go out and jog and run and do marathons and stuff. Why?
Well, because they enjoy it.
Yes, that's part of it. But what is that factor? There's that X factor. We were talking about that too last time too. The it factor. That was another big part of last week's discussion. And I think that the it factor and all these things come into play. It has something to do with our need as an ever-evolving species or ever-evolving life form. Let's put it that way, not just species, but we are all on the earth. You can look at the earth as one symbiotic life form because we ourselves are not one life form. You know that. If we didn't have the bacteria that's in us right now, we would die. The bacteria keeps us alive. It helps us with our brain function. It helps us with all of our other bodily functions. So we are not just one individual organism. We talk about this in religious terms that we have a soul and we have one soul and we're one. Are we? What about the little bacteria that are keeping us alive? Aren't they important? There's millions of them, and they're all different and evolving and important, and depending on where we live and what the atmosphere is like, what the environment we live in, what the food's like, what we put into our bodies. I mean, that's why they say that the digestive system in our internal system there is almost our second brain of sorts, or another brain of sorts, because that down there, how we eat our food and how we digest it, this is why eating and what you eat and how you eat it and all that stuff matters so much to how healthy we'll be in so many ways, even mentally. Some people have found ways to use, like in the old days, herbs and medicinals from nature to use to solve a lot of problems that they have that modern medicine has either ignored or is kind of poo-pooing, like, that's old schooly ancient Chinese medicine or something. Well, where in the heck did all the medicine that's modern come from? It's basically that broken down to scientific measurements and then creating it in a pill. But is it better in a pill form? Maybe not, right? The microbiome. That's right, Holly Lewis. You get a applause for that. Yeah. So, and that's what's really cool, Holly. Is like this part too. I've been thinking that lyrics and melody play a large part in not sounding the same as someone else. Exactly. Right. You were trying to find, it took you 4 days to figure out how to put together that Music Therapy Last Show song that you wanted to do for the Gear and Demo show, right? The Gear and Demo show. Because that's more, related to that show, like all the silliness and stuff. Very fun. But yeah, witches were just smart women that men were jealous of. And so they burned them at the stake instead of allowing
or rejected them.
Yeah, or drowned them with stones. Or they're a witch, so let's burn them.
Yeah, I've been seeing so many TikToks of people that are like at Renaissance fairs with their friends, and they're like, they're doing the funny TikToks, and it's like, it's like, what do I do if a girl rejects me? Oh, you just call her a witch.
That's right, call her a witch, you witch. Anyway, yeah, and there's the exactly Boomster Black. This is very sound the disturbance of atomic equilibrium. That's right. Or in some ways there is equilibrium. So there is the atomic equilibrium, and there's sometimes what was I trying to say? The dissonance, the non-equilibrium of things. So the dissonance in sounds. And this one guy, I'll show you guys this one picture. I kind of screenshotted it, and I was going to use this at some point, so I might as well use it now in the show here. So here is a shot of if you break sounds down not by 12 notes, but you keep going, and you get to the point where you're at 7,600.
It's like a light spectrum.
7,006, yeah, 7. He was using different light colors to each note of the 12 notes, and then basically he broke it down to like 7,600 notes per octave. Well, you could keep breaking sound down by note by note by note, going 12 to the next exponential, and the next and the next and the next. And so my argument is just like how sound can be broken down to different exponential, notes, right?
Mm-hmm.
In our brain, we can start to expand our, I guess, vocabulary, if you want to call it that, of sound. And as that vocabulary of sound increases, there are more possibilities or opportunities, or in physics they'll call it like the possibilities, the what's the proper word for it? Somebody knows. But anyway, you have there's like an infinite, really an infinite number of possibilities. And what's interesting about what AI is what they're trying to do with what they're calling AI and machine learning is they're trying to get computers to work like the brain. Most computers are ones and zeros in serial processing, right?
Yeah.
Our brain, pardon me, there's my first coffee burp of the show. Our brain, where is it? Oh, that's the wrong one.
Wrong end.
That's from the other end. The processes of the brain. Go ahead. What was that?
I'll say better the attic than the basement.
But yeah, the way the brain works is very fascinating because it is not a serial, like one decision and then we go from the next to the next. It's parallel. And if you understand how the neurons in the brain of us and other creatures are connected, the neural pathways are interconnected. And so, for example, if you have 2 neurons, there are 2 paths, right? You have 4 neurons, then it grows to like 16 paths. No, 3 goes to 16 paths. You got 4 neurons, now you're at 64. It keeps exponentially rising. So by the time you're at 12, like 12 notes, you're at like millions of possibilities, or probable. That's the word, probabilities. Probable, realities or probable circumstances or situations, right? So they talk about the Schrodinger box thing. We were talking about Schrodinger's cat. About the Schrodinger's cat, right? Yeah. So inside the box, do you know if the cat's alive or dead, or what state is it in? Until you open the box, you don't know what state it's in, because in a sense you're almost creating its state. And this was based on some thought experiments that some of these great physicists had, based on the math of science of
they changed it to just if the cat's in it now. They didn't want to be the death of a cat anymore.
The idea is that there are so many probabilities that could occur in our universe that but what causes it to be the probability that it is when you open the box. So it depends on what's happening. And there's some really interesting science on this, and it's a thought experiment. They're not talking about a real cat in a box. They're talking about probability. So what I'm saying is that if you start expanding the numbers, I think at just 6 notes or at 6 neurons, okay, you have the probability, if you're exponentially branching outwards in probability, right? Not just 1-to-1, but not just serial, but parallel, possible connections. So then I started thinking about how the brain works and its connections and its neurons, and I started thinking about music and musical notes and how many different sounds. Like you can do that same note on an orchestra, and each different instrument of the orchestra could hit that note, and they all sound different. And then you can, like in the picture of my thumbnail, I have like all these instruments. I found a picture up on the web where there's all these different instruments there. And I was looking for pictures that have like instruments piled up, and there's like all these different instruments
Oh.
so like this instrument right here that I have, this funky keyboard, you know, this again is going to open up the possibilities of what kind of sounds I can make, because it makes sounds in a way that's different than any other instrument ever, you know. And then you can then use this and make like a flute sound different than it ever sounded before. Right, you can make a guitar sound or a keyboard sound or a Wurlitzer sound or a piano sound or Hammond sound, or you can do those sounds and make those sounds sound differently. So there's this exponential amount of different sounds you can make, hence different kinds of music. But I think what Beato's arguing, let me ask you guys in the chat and you this too, but has all the music for those sounds already been written? Is there just nothing left? You tell me.
Well, I mean, I don't think so. I mean, there's definitely more to write. I mean, it's also like think of like the different ages of how music has progressed, going from like the medieval times of how music sounded then compared to now with like rap and rock. But I feel like we are in this weird
mix of those. Remember that mix of rap and rock? Remember with Walk This Way? You know?
Yeah, and then the whole new metal wave that came in the 2000s.
With, you know, rapping in that, you know, eating cars.
Yeah, but I do feel like because we are at like this point is more of like the society of something that we like sounding. Right. So
yeah, I think we're all starting to pick our own little. That's an interesting thing. That's, I think, part of the divergence in a sense that's been occurring, if you want to call it divergence, or you can call it, you know, well, I guess divergence is one where you divert from one sound to another and then you mix some other sounds, you know. So there's that divergence going on. There's integration of things going on.
Fusion.
And you can fusion of things and progression of things. So progressive rock is a different kind of term for a kind of rock music. You have new metal, old metal, you know, industrial metal, who knows, whatever kinds of metal song, you know, the genres split off. And then you have hardcore and you know, and you've got screamo and you know, all this kind of stuff. It's branching out. It's just exponentially constantly growing. And then people right now are sometimes like, well, I just like this kind. And like my sister, she's more like the Slayer thrash metal type chick, and that's the kind of music they're doing, but they're doing their own style with their band Then Die now. It's kind of an interesting take on that because it's got a little bit of not screamo, but kind of it's a little bit of screaming, you know, kind of lyrical stuff in there and yelling. It's almost more like yelling and screaming. You can hardly really even understand what they're saying for the most part until they hit the chorus, and then it's like, you know, you kind of understand what they're singing about or screaming about. But you know, there is meaning to their music, and they're trying to get a point across through the feel and the sound of the feeling of them. What does it make you feel like? You know, what is the feeling that you're getting from this music? And human beings, you know, can feel pretty much the same about most things, and you feel pain pretty much the same way. You feel sadness pretty much the same way, happiness the same way, and certain notes will actually evoke a physiological response. So when you have certain kind of dissonant intervals, they will have a certain kind of, you know, response. And I talked about this way back when it comes to how I think music evolved in the first place from the sounds around humans, and then them using those sounds as a repetitive, you know, repeating those sounds as a communicating. So if you heard a screech of a hawk, that meant that there was an attack that was going on, and so a screech was something that you could use as a warning. You know, crows in the backyard here were screeching like crazy the whole morning one day when the cat was over here, and the cat decided to rip apart our mourning doves that happened to nest in one of our planter boxes. And I found out later on, talking to the SPCA people or the animal control people about that freaking cat that I wanted to capture, you know, but I didn't. Anyway, I was pissed at the cat, you know, but they told me that the crows actually are kind of like the alarm bell for all other, you know, animals, that there's a predator on the premises. So wherever they see the predator, they'll be like, rah, 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 and they'll go crazy because the predator's about and trying to warn the other birds and other creatures, watch out. So I don't even know if you knew that crows did that. You know, they're trying to help each other out there.
Oh yeah, crows are smart.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
You seen how they try to like capture a baby and stuff? It's pretty well.
Because they remember things.
Oh, that's the wrong button. What was I going to use? There's no scary button on here. I need like one of those like scary. Oh yeah, this one. This is kind of. So that's a scared person, right? So it sounds like a screeching bird or something, right? So I think we evolved to mimic sounds and use those sound mimicings to each other to express a certain emotion or a feeling or a danger or a happy moment or whatever. And so that evolved into language over time. And music is a big sound in music, big part of language.
Yeah, I've heard a song that where a guy can scream like how it sounds like a tire screeching, like stopping right before a car accident,
Right.
So in the song around it will invoke more of like, that metal doomy, like dark sound. So
yeah, if you guys, Holly's talking about something here in the chat, that's cool. If you guys ever watch this movie, oh my God, what is it called? The Gods Are Crazy or something like that, where somebody in an airplane drops a Coke bottle and it happens to land in a tribe in Africa where, they start to, the Coke bottle becomes all these different things to them and they have to get because to them it becomes evil.
And then there's that, and then there's that one island off of India that is we're not allowed contact with. The tribe will kill you if anybody that goes onto it. And camera people have tried. I think there's been like one camera person that's came out of it alive.
That's happened in South America too. There's a story about that of an Amazonian tribe that's kind of cannibalistic and also very, very violent, and they were afraid of the fact that they might go out of, they might just kill each other out of existence because they just they have these beliefs and this kind of revenge thing that they can't let go of. And once before too in my show we talked about religion and how religious music and sound is used to gather people together and hymn and sing and meditate along with prayer and all this stuff to try to calm the masses, the mob. And also how music is used for those purposes, as well as for, let's get ready to battle. A lot of heavy metal music is kind of it's most military in style, like we're gonna go
war battles and stuff, war chants, kind of. I mean, there's a whole genre of like power speed metal that's like all about like it's like kind of like the Viking war chants.
Look at Iron Maiden. It's like almost like totally like all about wartime, medieval wartime stuff in the Scottish or northern parts of Europe, right? The upper parts.
So I don't think we always like take stuff because I mean one like metal always like if you take the story.
Oops, what did I just do? Oh, he must have just jumped out. He lost his internet. All right, Alex will be back in just a minute, I'm sure. Alex, come back. Let's go. Alex. Oops, what personal things enabled? What? There's always some weird stuff going on. Alex, come back. He was just about to say something important too. Anyway, he'll be back, I'm sure. Yeah. Drew Blinsky. I'll have to check that out. Yeah, 432 is divisible by 3. Yeah. And then you start to break down how, the notes of an octave can be broken down, right? But harmonically, it works the best when broken down in 12 different notes, and then you have those different intervals, the third, the fifth, the fourth, the sixth, the seventh, and then you have these dissonants, right? He has entered the studio and he's back. All right, he is back. All right.
Webpage just randomly closed.
I saw that. It wasn't me. I was trying to put something from the chat up or whatever. But it randomly closes sometimes. That's what happens. But what we were talking about, so like how the different notes can be then divided, and then and like I was talking about with my wife, I said, well, not only do you have those 12 notes, but then you also have this. You have
the bending
everything in between. So like in all kinds of music,
I remember Holly.
Right? And isn't that interesting? Is that sometimes the bending of the note, you take something that sounds very nice, like You can go.
Yeah.
And then suddenly it makes a different kind of feeling, because that makes me feel kind of sad or like something bad's about to happen, because suddenly the note that sounded harmonically equal is out of equilibrium, and now suddenly that out of equilibrium makes me feel like something that's not going to be in equilibrium or homeostasis or whatever you want to call it, like happiness. Suddenly we're going out of that, we're like, oh, something bad's going to happen. Like how a lot of times Ozzy, his singing, he would hit things on the note, but then he would go a little bit like that with his vocals, and it would make it sound eerie, dissonant, out of key, and hence that elicits a different kind of feeling, right? Either sadness or scariness or whatever, right? You're scared or something. So it's interesting how those sounds will elicit a physiological and emotional response in our brain and our body and everything like that, right? There you go. Right on, man. Right? And when a cat meows, he has that cute little meow, right? There's that cute one that meow, and he's going meow. That one, there's that one, I
want food.
There's the other one, like, there's the one when they're in heat, that's really crazy. And then when they're fighting, it's completely, oh my God. And then they going crazy.
Little kittens.
And we recognize each one of those sounds, even though they're not words. We know what it means. We know what one's a distress, one's happy, one's horny, one's something else. Because we're fairly familiar with the feline, with cats, because we have domesticated them and we have them around a lot. You'll be right back, but
I'm still here.
I got you. And with dogs too, right? The whining, the wincing, the barking, the howling. There's all these different things that they do as a form of communicating with themselves and us, and you've got the clicks and the sounds like that, like bugs and birds and other creatures click and make clicking sounds, right? Insects, of course. So all these sounds have been around us for millions of years. We evolved on this planet with these creatures, right? And we've incorporated these sounds into our DNA. In a sense, we genetically, I think, recognize, these sounds certain ways. And then we teach each other. We of course, we are also evolving, but we also have, found language and found a way to teach these things to each other as human beings on this earth, right? So we can understand each other and then be able to communicate more complex things outside of I'm hungry, I'm thirsty, I'm horny, or I'm, this or that, a more complex thought. And as our thoughts and as our abilities to contemplate and discover new things, we try to describe these things we discover to each other, so we have a better understanding of these things and try to gain a same understanding. In other words, is black or is it not black, or is it brown, or is what's blue, what kind of blue is it? Teal, or is it, so then we start to like the 7,600 notes of the octave. We could either start with 12, and then if we end up, if we keep breaking it out, we're going to be at 7,600 on the same scale ratio, right? Ratio scale of things. And I think that's where we're getting in the world right now, socially, culturally too, where there's a mix of cultures, there's a clash of cultures, there's cancel culture, there's all the different kinds of cultures that are kind of, it's not just a monotheistic culture where one person who's the king is in charge and tells everyone what to do. And that's why so many people have turned recently to that, because I think the turning towards, if you want to call it authoritarianism, or you can call it like a one leader or somebody who's clarifying everything for all of us so we don't have to deal with all this confusion. And so I can understand why people are turning to some of that around the world today, because there's been so much confusion because of all the information that our little brains, our inability to really understand it all and critically think through it all. We don't have time for it. We're working, we're trying to feed the babies and raise our children and drive the car today and whatever it is that we have to do at work, and we only have so much energy to expel on all this stuff that's happening, right?
Yeah, we got stuff to do.
And so because of that inability to deal with all these things all at once, you have a lot of anger, resentment, upsetness at the fact that there's so much I have to deal with. Why should I have to deal? Man's a man, a woman's a woman, and that's it. And that's all I want to deal with. I don't want to deal with more. Too much diversity. Let's get rid of it. We want it simpler times. And people have often a very nostalgic and not a very clear and very good memory, maybe, because maybe they forget. We all forget things, right? How things really were. And you think of the grass is greener on the other side, or somehow, it was better times back then when it was simpler. But when you go back there, you're like, it wasn't that simple. Actually, we had a lot of not so simple difficulty stuff that now we have a lot of conveniences and a lot of time sometimes available to us because of those conveniences. And now we have to choose our time and how we're going to spend our energy on what, right? And music, again, is back to the music side of this, is like what Beata was saying, that it's all been written, it's all been done, nothing new is going to happen. Is there anything new that's going to come out? And you could argue, that there are genres that once that genre is done, it's, blues, you had the Southern Alabama or Louisiana or whatever style music, and then blues and this, that, and that was influenced by other kind of folk music. And then the drums came in and the electric instruments came in, and things keep changing as there's new ways of expressing, musical ideas. Right, Johnny? Johnny's back again. Is that the real
everything
Johnny?
evolves.
He's got a ranch, so he must be. That's how you know. Anyway, Holly, what's he's saying, hey, Tim Thomas, what's up, Tim? Yeah, Adrian Ballou, he's a great musician too, created many animal noises on his guitar. Jeff Beck also, right, played a duet with a blackbird on one of his albums. There you go, man. Isn't that cool? Yeah, war chants and speed metal and all that, right? Yeah,
I'm trying to remember what I was talking about.
Yeah. So, I don't think it's over. I don't think music has all been written, and I think there's plenty of musical ideas to express. Even Johnny's new friend Nuno Betancourt. We know the truth. No, I'm kidding. Well, I bet you they would be fast friends, but Johnny would have to sit in the room with them and get hotboxed again if that's going to really happen. You know what I mean? Anyway, that's the only way that
break me. Fun.
Yeah, but I don't think it's over for music, and I think musicians are still out there expressing themselves, and they can even take the same song and change it up and do a different version of it, like the Chili Peppers did with Higher Ground or anything like that, right? You can do your own versions of stuff, and you can do your own personal version of whatever. Let's bring Johnny in and let's get his opinion on the subject.
Johnny at Starbucks.
What do you think, Johnny? You think 12 notes, that's all there is? There's no more music to be written because it's all been written? Yes or no?
What?
All right. There are 12 notes. That's all you got. It's all been written already. There's no more music.
I'm in a library. Dude, you're too loud.
You're in a library. You're in a cafe.
It's at Starbucks.
You got 12 notes? Use them all,
you got 12 notes. Use them all. And then what do you do with them, Johnny? Do you think there's any new music to be made, or do you think it's all been done?
Truthfully, it's all been done. But if you can be original enough and make it your own.
We got one of those here.
And
so you're saying two different things, but you're saying in one respect it's all been done, but if you do it in an original way, then it's new.
It's all been done. There's nothing new. Really. But if you can make it your own, that's the trick, is to make it your own and to make it different.
Some people say all you need is three chords of the truth, Johnny.
Hell yeah. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we hear you. Can you hear us? It's a little noisy there.
Yeah, I know.
Well, do you believe in that old blues saying that all you need is 3 chords from the truth?
What?
The old blues saying, all you need is 3 chords in the truth.
That's true. And a Pete's coffee.
Pete's and some Starbucks. Oh, you crossed to the dark side now.
That's all.
Or the light side. I love Pete's. It's all coffee to me. Yeah. That's right. Steve Vai and his bizarre horsey notes and sound.
Hey, Johnny, over here.
Over here.
Look. Look at
yeah.
Look at this.
Yeah, so I would agree in some ways that there
Hang
have
on.
been a lot of music written.
I'll be
Oh,
right
you
back.
take out? All right. There has been a lot of music written, and it could be thought like, oh, there, you hear that same thing said too. Oh, there are no more guitar heroes anymore. They're all gone, but then Nuno says, oh yeah, check that out, and then everyone's going, wow, and how does he do that? And then there you go, so I think, there are the thinkers and the writers and the thought police, and then there are the creators and the imaginers and the discoverers and the explorers, and that's what I consider myself. I'm an explorer of sound and music, as is Alex, as is Johnny. And I think that's what's fun about music, is discovering and trying to find it, find that magical musical place, within and then without too, externally and internally. You can find it inside you. You can have a weird dream one day and then write a song about that weird dream, like Sammy Hagar. Sammy Hagar, had a dream about his friend, Edward, and it said it's like he was there and writing the song with me. And then I woke up in the dream, and he did the video all about it, and like he had to write the song because it was like, the thank you song that he wrote. So I don't think it's all been done. I don't think it's all been written. I think there's lots to explore and lots to discover in musical thought and creation, and go for it. That's what I say.
Yeah, and a lot of music now it's experiences and feelings and stuff. So, and I mean, everyone kind of goes through life a little bit differently. So
that's right. We all have a different, and that's again back to that hard problem thing and the whole thing about consciousness. Why? If there's a God, let's say if we're going to talk about God, if there's a God, why would he create suffering? Why would he create death? Why would he create what's going on in Gaza right now, or in anywhere where there's death and mayhem, when people are just starving or dying because they don't have access to clean water, and they get bitten by mosquitoes with weird new diseases that are hitting us soon? Why would God do anything like that? Well, if you think of God like how I think of what I would consider God or consciousness, or I think it's like our one consciousness, but we're separate parts of that one consciousness, and we're adding more experience and feeling and knowledge and all these things to that one consciousness, and we're expanding that consciousness as the universe is expanding, infinitely expanding, I believe. Then our consciousness is part of that infinite expansion, and of course every aspect of that is going to be explored. You have the people that are exploring the dark side of life and the hate and the death and destruction side of things, and not getting along with each other, stuck in their ways, blinders. This is the one God, this is the one way, or our way or the highway, or we kill you or get away from us or whatever. There's that way of thinking, and then there's the way of thinking that, hey, there's room for it all. We can all find a way to get along with each other. That's what I always loved about America. This is a place where we can all think and believe in different things and still get along and do our jobs and do our things and get along with each other. And it's not about which has the better idea or who's right or wrong. It's about just being, like I have that little thing on my amp over there. Just be. Not be a bee, like, but maybe be a bee. Just be. Just be, man. Let it be. Like the Beatles sang, right? And so to me, music is one of these ultimately cool, if not magical, forms of expression that we can continue to explore and discover and express our emotions and feelings and thoughts through music as we evolve, and as our mind and our ability to expand our intelligence with AI and everything, like what Holly did with that song. Thank you, Holly. We can continue to expand this consciousness. And I think that's a really big part of what life is all about, really. So what do you think about that?
Oh, yeah.
Kumbaya.
Kumbaya, pretty much. I mean, I don't even know what to add to that.
Yeah, see, Steve thought the music died, right? When the music died.
But yeah, I like what Boomster says. Music lives, genres fade away, some quicker than others. Yeah, genre being like more of like a marketing tool. Yeah, that kind of makes sense.
Some become so ubiquitous in their, base knowledge around the world that like certain kinds of styles of music and pop music will then become a thing, like classic rock. I remember the Eagles talking about how classic rock saved them, because if there weren't classic rock stations that came around playing classic rock, they would have been dead, and they would have to change their, either like what Metallica tried to do, change their style at one point, and then classic metal and rock kind of start coming back, and people like Slayer just stuck with it always, you know. And
but I mean, people are still playing Bach and Beethoven and schools and stuff,
right?
like in orchestras. So,
right, you know, but no one remembers Solidarity anymore. In his day, he was right there with the king, right? Anyway, what I think we can end this on, because we're almost near the hour here, is I believe that there are more notes than just 12. We have a lot of those in between sounds and timbres and timbres and notes, and you know.
Yeah, have you seen like the videos of like people putting like more frets on guitars?
Right. Not only that, but think about why are they doing that instead of just using a pedal that can do that? Because you can do pedals. So why is there always another pedal every week?
It's like, well, it's a lot of them. At least what I've seen, it's a lot of people like doing Indian music or something that uses a certain scale. So but it's like they put like pieces of frets in different spots on the neck on different parts of the strings, and then it makes it sound way different than what a normal guitar would sound.
Exactly. You know, you have those like those perfect timbre, pitch, whatever guitars with the funky, you know. No, there's the first hiccup burp of the day.
Perfect temperament.
Yeah, perfect temperament guitars. And why do you think blues players and all these guys were bending notes, and horn players going wah, 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 you know? And our voice doesn't just sing monotonely, just one note all the time like this, because then we'd sound like a robot. So we talk like this and we talk like that, and you know, go all over the place like that, right? And none of it's just on that 12 note scale. So you know, even language is something that, you know, music is a lot of, we talked about in my show before too, a lot of religious sermons and a lot of ideas were sung, you know. They usually what was considered majestic, right, was considered part of God, was always pronounced in musical talk. Everything was musical, you know. It's like more medieval sounding kind of whatever, but you know, you hear chanting, you know, oh me padme om, you know, and you have all these kinds of like hymns and stuff like that people recite in musical form, because it elicits an emotional reaction, and your body will react emotionally. And that's why the church, at some point, the Catholic Church or whatever the church, said no to these dissonant notes, because that elicits a, you know, a different kind of feeling and emotion, and we don't want people having those. We want them all to have nice good feelings and not have any scared feelings and things like that. But human beings, as we are explorers of our consciousness and universe, are going to want to explore that, and I don't think that's bad. But at the same time, we should understand, you know, what these feelings are. And so I think educating each other is a very important thing. That's why I wanted to do this show, the Music is Therapy show, because I got that demo show and it's fun, it's music, and we just hang and be silly and talk about gear and whatever, you know. But I wanted this show to be something where I can not just teach, but also learn as I'm teaching. The best way to learn is to try to teach something, because then you start having to research what you're talking about, so you know what the hell you're talking about. And so you're not just making up stuff, right? And actually help people understand, like, why we have 12 notes in the first place. So after the show, I'm going to put together the description. Give me about 30 minutes to put it all together, you guys. So you can click on some links of where I learned some of the math, some of that. But if you definitely want to check out where I get quite a bit of my inspiration about the neuroscience side of music and whatnot, Daniel Levinen's book, This Is Your Mind on Music. That is a great book. He's also written some others. I left it outside accidentally, but there were some parts of that I pulled from that we were talking about here. And then I add some of my own intuition or ideas on that, where the number of neurons and how they're different, you know, 100 billion neurons in an average human brain gives you there are not even that many particles in the universe, they say, when it comes to probable connections. So it's insane, and that's why they're having such a hard time creating an actual quantum computer or an AI, because our brain functions on the quantum. And trying to create an actual mechanical machine of sorts that works on the quantum is what they're trying to do on that scale of things, the not serial but parallel, exponentially, difference. And that's what some people are afraid of, that this intelligence will exponentially grow so quick and fast that we won't be able to control it for our good, and it's going to do what it wants to do, and we're afraid that it might do something bad to us. Right? So Zappa's music, exactly. I actually was talking about Zappa just yesterday, I think it was. I was talking about that in regards to how, like, for example, I was very influenced by when he was on a late night show. I saw like a black and white late night talk show thing he was on. Can't remember which one, but he performs music on a bicycle to show people that you can make music with anything. And
is it like the dude that has like a guitar on a bike?
No. This was actually, okay. Let's see if I'll see if I'll find it. And I'll close on this one. This is super, super cool. I'll put it in the description too, but I'm sure it's on YouTube. But let me see. See if we could find it here. Zappa plays bicycle on a late night talk show.
Oh, okay.
There it is. Okay, here we go. I'm probably gonna get blocked for this thing.
I just link it.
I think it's the Dick Clark show. No, okay.
Steve Allen.
All right, so is it the whole show?
Guitar, vibes, bass drums, and bicycle. Are you in the music?
Frank Zappa. Yeah. I might get in trouble for this, but it'll be worth it.
Hey, it was my fault.
Oh.
Do you play any other musical instrument, anything more conventional, perhaps? Guitar, vibes, bass, and drums. Guitar, vibes, bass, drums, and bicycle. His bicycle will travel from his bass to his drums to his guitar. How did you happen to pick up your first bicycle?
Yeah, we hear it.
This before with some of the people backstage. I believe that a lot of the people have actually played bicycles from time to time. But when they're young, they take a piece of cardboard and a clothespin and attach it to the rear wheel, and when it goes around, it makes that noise, and you're playing a bicycle then.
Oh, I see. You mean when they pretend they have a little motor and make it sound like a motorbike? Yes, we've all done that. Well, is that what you do? You make a motorbike noise? I see a couple of bikes over here. Perhaps we'd better go over and demonstrate and show them what you do. Frank Zappa, Z-A-P-P-A, huh? Well, here we are, friends. Stereo bikes.
You have
what are these tools in your hands?
These pair of Louis Bellson sticks and a bass bow that I borrowed from your bass man in the back.
Louis Bellson style drumsticks. Does Louis know what you're doing with them?
I don't think he'd approve very much.
How long have you been playing bike, Frank?
About 2 weeks.
2 weeks? I love this guy. He's so good, man.
He probably was.
This is why I think it hasn't all been done before.
What's something real jerky that'll get me on the Steve Allen show?
Yeah.
You know how he was just willing to do the unconventional and not care what people say and laugh and thought, because he knew that.
What do you do ordinarily besides
he was doing something unique?
Might we be familiar with any of your songs as yet?
So don't be afraid to break out of the box. Right, Dwight Bailey?
Some of my songs as of next week, but I did the score for The World's Greatest Sinner.
Breaking out of the box.
And who might that be?
This is a bit long, but it's worth it, guys.
Manville,
We'll go a little longer.
Tell us about that.
I gotta pack up and head to
the world's worst movie, and I did the music for it.
The World's Greatest Sinner?
Yes. It's a Tim Carey production, Frenzy Productions.
Frenzy Productions.
By the way, if anyone wants to send me something in the mail that they want me to demonstrate or show on the show, I'll send it back to you. I've had that done before on the show, or demo show. Or if you have something you want to share, you can send it to my P.O. Box for $2.99, Livermore, California.
They should have my agent Belmonte, that could happen to anybody.
And we'll get the monetization share as soon as I figure out how to do this in a non-profit way.
Main Street Center.
The World's Greatest Sinner. Does Tim play the title role?
Yes.
Sorry, you can't hear me.
You wrote the score for that. What instrumentation did you use? 3 harmonicas and a bicycle, or what?
Well, we had a 55-piece orchestra, and we had a very unusual reed section. We had
Ian's like, what?
We had contrabass clarinet, 2 bassoons, 4
Bassoon.
bassoons, 2 oboes, English horn, 4 flutes and piccolo, 4 trumpets, 4 horns, and 4 trombones, and a tuba. And I forget this.
I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take it to the bicycle music part. All right.
Inventory.
We recorded it in the Chaffee College Little Theater in Altaloma, California.
I guess we'll just have to sit through it.
For 12 hours.
Well, we'll look forward to that.
Yeah, he
Now,
was talking about that thing,
job
yeah.
of the moment.
To make it sound like a motor.
You want to play the Future Blues, or exactly what are you going to play on us here? I'll just let you show us what happens.
The first thing that I should do is demonstrate to you the different types of sounds that you can get from a bicycle, because it actually does make some very interesting sounds, and of course that's what we're all interested in.
There's new sounds, yes. Like
That's one of the sounds that you can get.
yes. Oh, you have a microphone down there, I see.
Well, I'll need this microphone to pick up the next sound. It's you have to hold it right there.
All right.
Hold it right there, my friend.
Hold it right here. I'm sorry, you'll have to leave a message. He's not here right now. That's pretty good. Oh, there's a hole in these things, isn't there? Were you just whistling through there?
No,
What happened if you tried?
blow air.
You just blow air, and did it whistle? Can I blow air and it'll whistle?
Blow real easy.
Oh, you blow easy? Yeah, man.
Anyway, I think you guys get the gist, right? Anyway, it's pretty cool, man. I'll put that in the description. Let me bring you back, Alex. I'll put that in the description so you guys can click on it, or you can just do what I did, which is just go to YouTube and put in.
Don't forget your mic.
Thank you for that. I'm so not used to using this mic yet.
The giant boom arm, yeah.
I know, it's like getting used to how it adjusts and everything. But yeah, bottom line is I don't think it's all been written just because there's 12 notes on the scale of the Western scale of music. And if you listen to Asian music or music from anywhere else too, there are rhythms. Like Steve Vai has been known, especially having played and done music with Zappa, right? You can see how creative Zappa is. At that young age, he's already working with a 55-piece orchestra creating weird music, right? And weird is what I mean, like stuff you haven't heard before. So I don't think it's all been written, because you just travel a little bit around the world and you'll see they'll all have different kind of instruments, but they all know what an octave is. They all know what a third and a fifth and a sixth and a seventh. They all know those notes on a scale, but then there's stuff in between and rhythms from all different styles. And there's, like, just in Hungarian music, I learned to play and dance and you know, be involved in listening to and whatnot. There's folk musics and things that come from all over the world that you've never heard before. So there are ways of incorporating some of these styles, like Steve Vai has done on some of his albums, and you hear like even Satriani with some of his super funky, delicious, whatever kind of music he puts out, you know. I mean, that's what it's all about, man. It's about, and it won't all be popular. It won't all be a hit record and top 10 on the whatever listening charts that somebody creates, you know, and who says who's number 1 and number 2 and this and that. Just recently, there was a very interesting article in Guitar Player or something that I don't think Johnny and Ron were talking about in the previous shows. They talked quite a bit about Ozzy and, of course, Randy. And Johnny's becoming a bigger fan of Randy now that he's starting to understand the depths of, that young man up until 22. How old was he when he died? Anyway,
young.
Yeah. And the thing that he was trying to do that was different, and I think why there was this rivalry between he and Ed, is that Randy could play the same notes, and he could triple his solos and triple his things in recording, because he knew exactly every note he was playing, whereas Ed was not always playing the exact same thing. And a lot of times he was more of an improvisational style guy, kind of like I tend to play like that too, where I'm not well trained like Randy was a very well trained, classically learned pianist and guitar player, and he at a pretty young age was told by the mom, by the guitar teacher, that, hey, I can't teach your kid anymore. And she's like, why? What did he do wrong? He's like, no, you don't understand. I can't teach your kid anything anymore. He's teaching me stuff now. There's nothing I can teach him.
What am I supposed to do? I can't teach him. He's teaching me.
He's got me away, and I don't know where to take him. So I can't teach your kid anymore. And that's why wherever Randy went from town to town, when he had some time, he'd pick up a classical teacher to teach him something new on classical music, because that's where he felt he was getting beyond where he was at. So there's always a level you can level up on, you guys. Never give up. Don't think that you're not good enough, because even the best player is not good enough at something. Look at Joe Satriani getting lambasted on the internet by idiots who are like, oh, he says it's impossible, look at me. It's like, sure, if you sit around for hours and just do that one part forever, you'll get it down. And so the point that I think Joe was making is that even someone at my ability, I mean, that guy's a virtuoso, man. Those idiots that went to challenge him, like, I can do the impossible thing, Joe, it's not that hard. They missed the point. What he was trying to say is that at that time and point when Eddie created that, nobody was doing anything like that, and they were just all just, now everyone's seen it, done it, and now their cats are being taught how to do it. The point is that you can keep going. There's lots to explore, lots more music to create. I don't think it's over. And it's not just 12 notes. We'll find new ones, right? What do you say, Alex? We can explore some shit.
You can always learn more.
Let's do it. Let's explore some more of that music. I'm going to go do that today at my friend Joe's. We're got to pack up the car as soon as I'm done with this, set up these drums. Did I show you guys the drums? No, I was gonna.
I
picked up these drums for free from my friend Peter. I was talking about Peter and his drums.
I know Johnny showed us last night.
Oh, he did. Okay, yeah, because I sent him these same pictures. So for those who weren't there at Johnny's show,
well, he showed us the one picture with like the skateboards and stuff. So
yeah, two of the pads here, and then we've got this is in my car. The rest of the V drum set, and I don't know exactly which one it is. It's an older set.
Most Roland V drums though are good,
but
though.
They're good, yeah, and it does some cool stuff. It even makes some weird synthy sounds and all kinds of other things. So it'll definitely be useful for what we're going to use it for at the gigs that we're going to do with this group. It's not a band; it's a group called Memorex with 2 R's, because I think they want to avoid any problems. So Memorex is going to be playing here. Let me put it here. Memorex. We're going to be playing, and the reason why we're using that name is Paul's a smart guy. What was Memorex? It was a tape, right? You can buy. You can record like music on the tape from your LPs or radio on the cassette, and it was like real. It was so clean and so good. It was like the real thing, right? Memorex, right? So Memorex is really a group of musicians that's coming and going with all kinds of new players and whatnot, and singers and etc. And we're just doing we're doing other people's music. So it's like a nostalgic kind of thing. It's like the 80s, but it's not. It's 90s. It's 60s. It's 2000s. Whatever. Any kind of music, and it's we're gonna be playing at Gallagher's. I think it's spelled Gallagher. Gallagher's Irish pub. Irish
there's
pub.
an H in there, but
yeah, I think you're right. That's what I was trying to figure out. Irish pub in Dublin, California on September 9th. Come check us out. It's going to be fun. From 4 o'clock on, we're going to be playing. And there's everyone from people that went from karaoke singing to wanting to sing with a band, meeting band members, creating bands out of this group of musicians. And that's when we all get together and do this kind of show. Paul, who's kind of like the guy who manages all this stuff, he's in a couple different bands, including my sister's band. He's one of the vocalists on the Then Die band, my sister's band, and several musicians that play in other bands too. So people are kind of
nice, different
styles, different kinds of music. So Memorex is everything from 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s. So what are all different kinds of music's being played in that like 20 something odd songs, 20 to 30 songs. And Johnny is back, and look where he is at right now at the studio. I gotta go, so we're gonna cut it short. But anything else you want to say about the
Pete's coffee? Delicious.
It is. Right? Did you get a new sponsor?
Not yet, but if they're watching,
I wish.
Right on. So did you have a nice breakfast?
Me?
Yeah, you.
Yeah, it was cool.
Right on.
They had some sort of sandwich, something.
Right on. What are you doing today? Do you got a show planned later on?
Actually, I'm helping. I have to help a friend of mine. They got a new microphone. Got to help them at 1 o'clock. Got to help them figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see last night, dude? I saw Rob.
Some of it. Yeah, well, I stayed up till then, and then I went. I was already falling asleep at that point. But
Went and found them. There's a venue out here called Moe's Alley. He's teching with the Zeppelin tribute band.
Right on. Yeah, I've seen him play some Zeppelin stuff too, so he's pretty good.
Nice.
Right on.
Yeah, it was cool. I wish I would have known he was here. I would have gone to the show.
Yeah, he doesn't always tell me either. I say, hey, let me know when you're in town, but when people are.
He didn't know. He didn't know that we lived here.
He
said he thought I would live somewhere else.
There you go. Well, that's a wrap, Johnny. You came right at the end. I got to get going because it's already 11:30.
Johnny at the end.
Got to pack up my car with other stuff other than the drums that are in there right now. There you go. There's young Johnny Bean. That AI thing makes you look like a child. You're 12 years old there, man. That's so weird.
It's like baby face. Whoa.
It's just strange.
Well,
I prefer the comic book version.
It's from this photo here,
which
is Snapchat. It was from a Snapchat filter to doing that. Look.
Yeah. It's just weird. That other one that you had too, where it's telling whatever you set it to say or something, but it says it in a different voice. What's that one? Show that one. That's hilarious.
Oh, you saw that?
Yeah, it's just gonna freak the world out. People are gonna go mad because they can't figure out the truth from the not truth or whatever. People are gonna wig out on it all. Just relax, people. Chillax.
That one?
Yeah, hold on.
Welcome back to the stream, everybody. Hope you're having a good day.
Where's that one where? Where's the one where he says subscribe? Subscribe.
That's
one.
Not even my teeth.
Where's the subscribe and subscribe? Or how do you say it? Subscribe.
Make sure to subscribe.
Make sure to subscribe.
Subscribe.
I moved to Nashville and my voice changed. Subscribe. That's right.
Make sure to subscribe, everybody.
Subscribe.
And then it said this was me.
And like.
It said this was me. It was crazy. I said create a video of me saying streaming. And it made that.
They thought you said Jenny Bean instead of Johnny Bean.
They made that. It's crazy,
man. That's Jenny Bean.
Yeah, I've had some ones that it's just like, why?
I think that's Jenny Bean, not Johnny Bean. Jenny. Anyway,
make sure to subscribe, everybody.
Just realize, y'all, what you see online is not always real, and it's okay. And don't freak out. Oh my God, that's cute. Oh my God! All right, I think we've had enough. All right, no, it's good. It's funny.
Yeah, don't try to cartoonize Laz. It doesn't really work.
Oh my gosh.
Is that me?
That's remember the photo we took.
Did you like Shrek us or something? It looks like you Shrek us.
It was a Disney. Yeah, I put Disney, I think. Oh, but yeah, it was this photo of us.
Disney? That looks like it Shrek'd us.
Yeah.
That was weird. Do Simpsons versions of us. Can you do Simpsons?
Oh, I've tried. It never looks right.
No, I want to see it. All right.
Fine.
We'll have fun with AI next time. Let's do an AI thing. Let's do something on the Gear and Demo show where we're like just doing all these weird AI things. Well, hey, everybody create a Suno song. Like what Holly was saying. Everybody go check out that Suno thing. Like my sister
create a free AI song.
And create a free AI song on Suno. And everyone create a song for next week's demos, Gear and Demo show. And let's do that.
And make sure to subscribe.
Subscribe. And like. I think that's what was missing.
Hey, John.
I think was missing at the end of that. It should have been and like. All right.
And more. Hell yeah.
All right. Hell yeah. That's the end of the show, you guys. Thanks for coming. It is the Music is Therapy show where we talked about some serious topics. I'm kidding. No, it's always good fun with you guys. Hope you guys learned something. I did as I researched, as always, and I will update the description after today's barbecue because now I don't have time. But it's worth it. There you go, Johnny. There you go. That's right. You know, we had Zappa on the show today playing a bicycle. That's how it's done, man. All right, until next time, have a great day. Be good or be good at it, and don't